Flight crew procedures. Review NOTAMs to make sure that the destination airport still meets visual or non-visual CAT-EL or CAT-3 requirements, runway and approach lighting, radio nav aid availability, RVR equipment availability. Aircraft status, check that required equipment for CAT-2 or CAT-3 approaches are operative. The required equipment list is given in the FCOM and in the AFM. Crew qualification and currency must be reviewed. Both captain and first officer must be qualified and current. Weather information, check that the weather forecast at destination is within airline and crew operating minima. If the forecast is below CAT-1 minima, verify that alternate weather forecasts are appropriate to the available approach means and at least equal or better than CAT-1 minima. Fuel planning, additional extra fuel should be considered for possible approach delays. Approach preparation. Aircraft status. Check on the CAM status page that the required landing capability is available. Although it is not required to check equipment that is not monitored by the system, if any of this equipment is seen inoperative, flag. The landing capability will be reduced. For A300/A310, check auto land warning light. Weather, check weather conditions at destination and at alternates. Required RVR values must be available for CAT-2 and 3 approaches. The selected alternate must have weather conditions equal to or better than CAT-1. Approach ban. Policy regarding an approach ban may differ from country to country. Usually the final approach segment may not be continued beyond the outer marker or equivalent DME distance if the reported RVR is below the published minima for the required transmissometers. After outer marker or equivalent, if RVR becomes lower than the minima, the approach may be continued. ATC calls, unless low visibility procedure are reported active by Automatic Terminal Information Service ATIS, clearance to carry out a CAT-2 or CAT-3 approach must be requested from ATC, who will check the status of the ILS and lighting and protect the sensitive areas from incursion by aircraft or vehicles. Such an approach may not be undertaken until the clearance has been received. Before the outer marker, the required RVR values should be transmitted. Seat position. The correct seat adjustment is essential in order to take full advantage of the visibility over the nose. The seat is correctly adjusted when the pilot's eyes are in line with the red and white balls located above the glare shield. Use of landing lights at night in low visibility conditions. Landing lights can be detrimental to the acquisition of visual references. Reflected light from water droplets or snow may actually reduce visibility. Landing lights would therefore not normally be used in CAT-2 or CAT-3 weather conditions. The briefing should include the normal items as for any IFR arrival, and in addition the following subjects should be covered prior to the first approach: destination and alternate weather, airfield and runway operational status CAT-2, CAT-3, etc. Aircraft systems status and capacity, brief review of task sharing, review approach procedure, stabilized or decelerated, review applicable minima, go-around procedure, ATC calls, brief review of procedure in case of malfunction below 1,000 feet, optimum seat position and reminder to set cockpit lights when appropriate. Approach procedures. Task sharing. CM1 and CM2 task sharing must be clearly defined in the Airline Operations Manual. The recommended task sharing for a CAT-2, CAT-3 approach is that CM1 is pilot flying and CM2 is pilot non-flying. All CAT-2 and CAT-3 operations, CM1, has hands-on controls and thrust levers throughout the approach, landing or go-around, makes FCU selections, if any, takes manual control in the event of autopilot disconnection, monitors flight instruments. Approaching decision height, starts to look for visual references, progressively increasing external scanning as decision height is approached. If no decision height procedure is used, the pilot flying will nevertheless look for visual references. At or before decision height, if his decision is to continue, calls continue, scans mostly head up to monitor the flight path and flare, in Cat 2 or Cat 3 Alpha, or the position on the runway, in Cat 3 Bravo, by visual references, monitors thrust reduction or for Airbus 320 Airbus 330 Airbus 340, at retard callout, sets thrust levers to idle, selects and controls reverse thrust, disengages autopilot when taxi speed is reached. CM2, monitors flight instruments head down throughout approach, go around or landing until rollout is completed, calls any deviation or failure warning, calls barometric heights as required, and monitors auto callout or calls radio heights including 100 above, monitors FMA and calls mode changes as required. At decision height, identified by oral and visual warning, if decision is not announced by CM1, calls minimum, if no response from CM1, initiates a go-around. Cat 3 operations without decision height CM1, if no failure by alert height, calls continue, monitors flare by flight instruments, monitors lateral guidance during flare by yaw bar on PDF, monitors automatic ground roll by scanning alternately instruments and external references. All Cat 2 and Cat 3 operations if decision is to go around. CM1, calls go around, flaps, initiates go around by setting thrust levers to toga, or triggering go levers for Airbus 300 Airbus 310, monitors rotation on PFD, checks positive climb, vertical speed and radio altimeter, commands configuration changes. CM2, standard operating procedures. Landing checklist.
Landing checklist cabin crew.
Advised.
Auto thrust.
Speed.
Auto brake.
Medium.
ICAM memo.
Landing no blue.
Landing checklist completed.
Land.
Checked.
300. 200. 100 above.
Checked.
100. 70, 60, 50, minimum 40,
continue.
30, 20.
Flare.
Retard.
Roll out. Spoilers. Reverser green. Ds. 70 knots.
Checked.